Hello and welcome to this digital photo video tutorial. I'm Phil Hall and I'll be showing you how to turn this fairly average shot of an old woodwork saw into a fine art masterpiece. Using adjustment layers, we're going to make a series of adjustments to the original image to build up and create an aged, antique look to the shot, completely transforming it. We'll use levels to add depth and texture to the image, along with a black and white adjustment layer to boost contrast for the difference. Then the shot will be converted to mono before being toned using curves, and finished off with some neat tricks. Once that's all done, we'll construct a triptych with two other woodwork images to perfectly show off your fine art woodwork tools. Okay, if you want to open up the start image, saw.jpg, we can begin. Okay, if you just want to bear with me, I'm just going to close this final image down. This is what we're going to achieve in the next couple of minutes, but I'm now going to concentrate on our start image, which is the saw.jpg. Okay, what I want to do now, or sort of to begin with, is to darken these corners off here, and keeping the saw as it is. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to maximise the screen so it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. I'm going to go to the toolbox and select the lasso tool, and then I'm just going to quickly and not very precisely run around the saw, just making a quick selection like that. Okay, we've got our marching ants running around there, and I want to feather that selection. So I'm using CS3, so it's Refine Edge, which is just up there. Click on it, and I want a feather of around about 150 pixels. Do that, and hit OK. It's the same as if you're using CS4. If you're using an earlier version of CS and you want to make a selection, all you have to do is go to Select, then down to Feather, then you can key in 150 pixels, and you get the same result. Okay, so that's just smoothed off that selection. But at the moment, any adjustments we do will be centered on the saw, and we don't want that. We want it running around here, any adjustments we make to be outside on this wood. So all I'm going to do is going to go to Select, Inverse, and that inverses the selection. So as you can see, we've got marching ants running around the perimeter of the image, and anything we do now will be contained within this area here, and the saw will be unaffected. Okay, I now want to sort of darken this down. I've made my selection, so all I'm going to do is hit F7 to bring up my layers palette. There it is there. We've only got a single layer at the moment, and that's our background layer, but we're going to build up that. So to begin with, I'm going to click on Create New Filler Adjustment Layer. It's that one there, and I'm going to select Levels from the drop down. Right, all I'm going to do now is drag these arrows inwards to meet the histogram. I'm going to bring this left one in here till it reaches the edge of the histogram. Just going to move this down so you can see what's going on. Click back off preview. See, that's darkened down the corners really nicely, and it's left that saw unaffected because we've got a really nice smooth feather on it. Okay, I'm going to just finish off by just dragging this right hand arrow inwards, just boost the contrast a bit. As you can see, that's working really nicely. I'm going to hit OK now, and then click back on our background layer. Okay, I'm going to boost the contrast, but rather than just using curves, I'm going to show you neat tricks. I'm going to go down to Create New Filler Adjustment Layer, click on it, and go to Black and White. Don't worry when the image goes to mono, but I'm going to show you how to rectify that in a moment. All I'm going to do now is just play around with the channels just to boost the contrast. And for this one, I'm just going to play around with the red slider. Just going to drag that to the left, pulling it all the way to around about, probably a bit too far, around about there, minus 38%. You can see that's just darkened down the corners even more. Same with the yellows. I'm just going to drag the yellow slider to the left till it's round about minus 5. I'm going to hit OK, and at the moment that's probably looking a bit too dark for my liking, but using the blending mode, I'm going to change the blending mode of our black and white layer from normal to soft light, and if I click on that, you can see we get our colour image back, but the contrast has been boosted somewhat. If I click back, hide that layer, you can see the changes we're making. We're starting to get a lot more detail in that wood now, and that's really starting to work nicely. I want to warm the image up even further, so I'm going to click back on my background layer, Create New Filler Adjustment Layer, and I'm going to go to Photo Filter. Just going to warm the shot up really quickly. I've got Warming Filter 85 selected. I'm going to increase the density to 40%. Don't worry if the colours look too warm. This is going to come in handy when we come to tone our image, because it's going to retain this information. So we're just warming the shot up. So I'm going to hit OK, and we're done. We'll just click back. You can see the shot's looking even warmer. Okay, I think it's now time to start toning the image. Right, I'm going to select Create New Filler Adjustment Layer. select black and white. We're going to turn the shot to mono. Again, as before, I'm just going to play around with the red and yellow sliders. I'm going to push the red slider again to the left till we get to around about there, -22. Again, let's just darken those corners even more, bringing even more detail back that we'd lost with our original shot. Again, with the yellows, I'm going to drag it again to the left, around about there. It's looking pretty horrible at the moment, but what I'm going to do is change that and convert that with our curves adjustment layer that we're going to carry out in a moment. But we've just brought this detail in here, so I'm going to hit OK, and then select curves. Just going to move it to the left a moment so you can see what we're going to do. I've got my RGB channel selected here, so I'm just going to start off by making a gentle S-curve. It's just going to boost contrast even more. It's looking murky, but bear with me a moment. I'm going to go down to our red channel, just increase the S-curve there, and then go to green. But rather than an S-curve, I'm just going to pull it outwards. So we go round about there. So I've instilled quite a lot of green in the shot. The big change is going to come with the blue channel. I'm going to go down here, select blue, and then going up to the top right hand corner, I'm just going to drag it down, round about a quarter of the way down, probably round about there, and release, and then go down to the bottom, and then just drag it upwards, and about, again, another sort of quarter distance, round about there. You can see we're getting our nice toning effect there. That's looking really good. If I click back, you'll see what we started with and what we've come out with. And that's just through using the curves tool really creatively. Rather than just sticking to a straight RGB channel, we've used all the channels that really have an input and sort of effect on the image. I'm going to hit OK now. Alright, I'm going to make one more subtle change. I'm just going to pick another curves adjustment layer this time. But rather than doing an S-curve, sort of a standard S-curve with the RGB channel, I'm going to do an inverted S-curve. So we'll just take the contrast down a little bit. If I click back off preview, you can see that's just smoothed it down just a tad. So that's working really nicely. That's our first tool shot. You can now save this file. If you want to maintain all of the layers you've created here, all you have to do is save it as a TIFF file and maintain layers. We're going to need to use a JPEG file, so you can save it as a JPEG, or you can save two files, a JPEG and a TIFF. But we're going to be using a JPEG file in a moment. So what I want you to do now is open up chisel.jpg and plane.jpg and carry out the same steps as we've done with those two images as we've done with this image, and you'll come up finally with three really nice aged antique looking images, and we can then think about putting them into a triptych, which I'll show you in a moment. So I'll see you then. Hello there, welcome back. Hope you got on alright with the other two images. It's just the same process as we did with the saw. So hopefully now you've got three completed images. We've got a saw, a plane and a chisel that we can now bring in to our triptych and create a really nice sort of presentation of our shots. There's a range of triptychs on this month's CD, but I've chosen A3 Landscape 1.jpg for this series of shots. Okay, what I'm going to do is select my saw JPEG. It's this one there. I'm just going to bring it up. All I'm going to do is hit Control A to select it all. You can see the marching ants running around there. Control C to copy it, and then I'm just going to close this shot now so it's out of the way. I'm going to do Control W to close that. And then I'm just going to paste our selection into A3 Landscape 1.jpg. Hit Control V, and we've got our large toned tool shot. It's a bit too large at the moment, so what I'm going to do is just move it over to our first layout tab there, and I'm going to hit Control T. What I'm going to do is, holding down Shift, is click on the bottom right hand corner and move it inwards and upwards. As you can see, just getting to around about the same size as our template, probably just a little bit over. Release and then hit return to ensure they fit the template. So what I'm going to do is change the blending mode from normal to lighten. If I click on that, you'll see the overmatter disappear and it will just fit neatly into our first template. I'm going to do the same procedure again with our plane. Bring that up there, I'm going to hit Control A, Control C to copy it, Control W, and then I'm going to hit Control V again, and hit Control T, holding down the Shift key just to maintain the aspect ratio of the shot. Just going to bring it in there, hit return, and then change the blending mode as before to lighten. So we're getting there, we're starting to lay out our shots really nicely, and the sort of icing on the cake is going to be these chisels. So I'm just going to hit Control A again, Control C, Control W to close it, then I'm going to paste it in with Control V. Okay, we've got our third layer in there. I'm just going to move it into position. I'm going to hit Control T again to transform, but I'm going to use the bottom left hand corner, holding down Shift, just drag it in as before. Release, hit return, and then again change that blending mode to lighten. And there we go, we've got a really good looking triptych image. We can finish it off though. It'd be nice to have a nice keyline black border around each individual image. So that's easily done as well. So if I click back on background, select the magic wand, then if I just click on my saw shot, I have marching ants running around there, and I hold down Shift, click on the plane, then the chisels, and then all I'm going to do is going to go to Layer, New Layer, hit OK when you get the new layer dialog box pop up. What I want to do, make sure I'm going to shift this layer up so it's at the top of the stack. And all I'm going to do is going to go over to Edit, down to Stroke, and make sure I've got a pixel width of around about 5 pixels for an A3 shot. Colour is black, you can just click on that and move it around if you want to pick another colour. Hit OK. Location is important, we want it inside, and then hit OK. If I hit Control D, you can now see we've got a really nice keyline border going around each shot, which really does finish off the triptych perfectly. And there you have it, a great technique to produce a perfect fine art image. We've looked at how you can use curves more creatively than normal, as well as a different use for black and white adjustment layers. Why not shoot a series of similar shots yourself and apply this same technique? And don't forget, you've got a selection of pre-done triptychs on this month's cover disc. Hope you've enjoyed it. Cheers for now.